Howdy folks, how you going? Welcome to the brewery. Thanks for joining me. I'm Little John, you know that. I don't know who you are, but you know who I am anyway. Now what we here, 3,000 subscriber question and answer. It's that time. Hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube earlier in December, and as I did when I hit 2,000 subscribers, I've thrown it out to you guys at home to throw any questions at me that you might want answered that maybe haven't been answered on the channel up till now, or outside of that. So here we are to do that. There's not a real lot of questions been asked. There's a few comments. I've got it here in front of me. There's actually 12 comments. There's only about, it's only really 3 or 4 questions in amongst them. Most of the comments are actually just congratulations and stuff, and thanks for what we're doing. But anyway, I'll go through one by one, work through and answer whatever questions are in there, comment on stuff as we go. As I'm doing that, I'm also going to be a bit of a, we're going to reflect on what's happened in the last sort of 12 months. So this is sort of going to be the yearly catch-up type video as well, which I normally do, and have a bit of a look at what's coming, after Christmas for next year. So strap on in, grab yourself a beer. If you haven't got a beer, hit the pause button, go grab one and settle in. Anyway, as I said, I did say on the video when I first said about the 3,000 subscribers, and I was going to do this video, I said there'd be a prize for one person who asked a question. I'd actually stated for who that asked the question, but given there's only been the 12 comments, we'll probably just draw one from out of there anyway, but we're going to leave that till a little bit later, and chances are I'll bloody forget before the end of the video, and but anyway, I'll try not to forget. I'll try to remember. Anyway, all good. So before we get into the questions, I've got to say thank you to all the people that support the channel. Right now, subscribers, 3,000 subscribers. Still blows my mind. I know, for the third best channel on fucking YouTube, it's pretty hard to believe there's only 3,000 subscribers, but that's the way it is. But yeah, it blows me out a little bit that there's 3,000 subscribers, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Pretty much every day there's another subscriber, another 2 subscribers coming on. And it just ticks over and just keeps on growing and growing, which is great. Which means, tells me that people want to know stuff. People, and that's just, it makes sense. There's always new people coming along and wanting to brew. Every day there's new brewers, there's new people starting up this bloody this hobby. Fuck, don't tell your fucking missus it's a habit, you'll never get over that one. But anyway, there's always new people starting out brewing, and they want to learn. They want some help, because there's not always a lot of help out there, which is why I started the channel in the first place. So to go from the very first video I made, which was just simply testing how washing your glasses affected head retention, just simply because it started from a conversation on the Facebook group, and there was no great amount of information about it. Everything was a bit contradictory and stuff, so I sat down and done it. That first video was done on a fucking super cheap little bloody camera I bought from, I think, local Woolies. It was El Cheapo, and sound was pretty ordinary, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I haven't improved the hell of a lot over time. But anyway, it's piss and rain outside. Hopefully that's not causing too much problem with the sound. And before we get in questions and comments, because this is going to lead into the first one to some degree, I want to improve the sound and the video quality, but the reality is the items to do that are not cheap. I've spent money on, well, I've got a good camera here, which is actually my daughter's, so I bought the daughter, and the video quality on that is fucking terrible, and so is the sound quality. I currently use little Canons, which are, I mean, they're a good 10-year-old probably. One was originally our camera. I bought 2 more second hand because I get a decent result out of them. The sound's not perfect, the picture's not perfect, but it does the job. One day I'd love to have bloody decent mic system, yeah, and better quality video, but that's where we are at the moment. So we put up with it. It gets us by. Little John's is never going to be as fancy and clean cut as some of the other channels out there, but that's just how it is. Yeah. It's rough around the edges. I'm rough around the edges. It's home brew. It involves alcohol. Yeah. Sometimes we're not even in a suitable state to be doing videos. So that's how it runs. But given that, let's lead into the first comment. Now, the first comment actually comes from another YouTuber, Pierre. I haven't got his name yet, and even if I did, I wouldn't try to say it anyway. Pierre has a channel called Simple Home Brew. I've talked about it a few times, over time on the channel. And Pierre's actually been doing YouTubing for about the same amount of time as I have. He started around the same time I did, and he has very similar numbers. And he does a lot of experiment, lot of playing around, does a lot of kit brewing, and he does wines and stuff like that. He does a bit more. He has spent a bit of money on his audio and stuff, and it's a little bit better than mine. And this is what leads into his comment in his first question. He says, "Congratulations, Little John. I'm right behind you," which he's tagging along with us. Their numbers are very our subscriber numbers are very similar. Your content is always very informative, down to earth. Yeah, try to do. I do have one question. When are you going to start uploading in full screen? I think we'd love to see more of what's around you. Now, I wasn't exactly sure what you meant, Pierre, when you said that. Uploading in full screen. At first I thought you meant, we have showing more stuff in the picture. I've just clicked on a video there before and went to put in the full screen, and discovered that there is the borders down either side. It's a square, it's not a widescreen. And again, that feeds back to the cameras, because they are an older camera. They don't have the aspect ratio. They're at 16. No, sorry, I think that's probably, they don't do 16:9. I can probably get a wider angle out of, the wider angle out of these cameras. I haven't really checked that closely, but I think I lose recording capability by doing that. It takes up a lot more space on the memory cards. And given that they're a bit older, they do struggle a little bit with getting too far. And this is the same reason with videos generally are only in 240p or 480 at most. I'm not recording in high definition. I do have the little camera, which does record in high definition, but as I said, the sound's fucking horrible. And it takes forever. Oh, not forever, it takes a long time to upload and download and all the rest of it, that sort of stuff. I have very limited, my internet is not particularly good. We are the very edge of the broadband reach in town. I haven't got NBN. So it can be a very long process trying to upload a high quality video. So it just works out easier for me and much more straightforward, keeping the quality down a little bit. So again, I've always said, yeah, with one of the focuses to try and improve that, and I am actually hoping that in the coming 12 months I will be able to hopefully focus some of the incoming money into buying that equipment as opposed to buying other brewing equipment. I'm actually hoping I've got the brewing equipment to a place now where I'm not really looking to upgrade anymore. I think I've made all the big purchases I'm going to make for a while. So fingers crossed we can actually get into a little bit of the higher quality sound and audio, which will then, at the same time, hopefully get us this better viewing aspect for you guys at home. I do really need to get on to trying to get some NBN here at home and improve our internet speed. That on its own could help. As for shooting, I am hoping to get into maybe doing some different angles with getting at least one extra camera involved, and maybe even getting that high definition camera involved. Just not using audio, but just for over-ranging shots, for bigger shots of what's going on. So it does have a wider shooting angle than these cameras that I'm using. So keep your eye out. Things, I hope those things will change a little bit and look to improve over the next 12 months. Pierre, mate, cheers. Been enjoying your working through your advent calendar, mate. All good. Thank you, Phil. Got here, John V. Appreciate all the hard work you do. Congratulations, Merry Christmas. I said, a lot of these are just comments, are not really questions. Mate, as long as people are appreciating, all is good. That's what, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. Occasionally a bit disillusioned with what I'm doing. I get a little bit carried away. I have to reel myself in if I get caught up trying to do too much of, trying to get too many things going all at the same time. Sometimes I've got to reel myself in. You see where that happens when it doesn't happen. It's all good. So cheers, John. Reese Williams. Now, Reese is a name you're going to probably heard plenty of times on the channel. Reese in the last 6 months or so has been very helpful with Extractaganza. He sent sent a few brews out, which are in the process now of being done, and he also sent me a wacky yeast, which I've been trying to incorporate into different brews. I'm sort of working through those, and I will continue to do so, Reese. Those yeasts certainly aren't going to go to waste. One's been used on Extractaganza brew, which I bottled the other day. So I am working through them, mate. So thank you very much. But what Reese has said, congratulations. My question is, which Cooper's kit do you find the easiest to adapt to different brews? For myself, I found Mexican Cerveza the easiest to pimp into a Goza, Berliner Weiss, Pacific Ale, Galaxy. I've even used it to make a red ale with redback grain from Country Brewers. Now, the Mexican Cerveza, the Cerveza base is an easy starting point if you're building stuff up. But the reality is any of those lighter beers are going to be a good base for playing around with. I've played around a few times with Canadian Blonde, use that as a base for brews. But basically anything that's sort of lightish is work, because then you can just build stuff on top of it. But you can build stuff on top of any beer, which is sort of been starting to show now. I'm working with now within Extractaganza. We're just starting to where I've got to the point where I'm now getting those beers and taking them and building them up with grains and hops and adding a little bit extra to them. So the reality is you can build up any kit you want. But it's interesting you mentioned the Coopers, and as I said, Reese had sent me 3 Coopers brews to do with the extravaganza. And I'm finding that now I'm getting into extravaganza now, and I've brewed a couple of different cans. I'm starting to find that starting to find the brands which are of better quality than the others. And I'm certainly getting to the point where I'm finding that the Coopers are leaning on the side of not being real great. There's definitely better kits out there than the Coopers. Coopers, for a lot of us, is readily available. It's easy to find because normally it's in, sometimes it might be in your local Woolies or your local IGA or something like that, or might have a Big W nearby where you can get it. Dan Murphy's. So for a lot of brewers, it's easily accessible. So, and that's what we grab. It's a name we recognise. We know the Cooper's name, and I think as brewers we attach an amount of quality to that Cooper's branding, and I think that hurts a lot of new brewers, a lot of fledgling brewers as a result, because they do stick with this Coopers thinking, okay, these guys know what they're doing. I'm starting to lean the other way, where I'm thinking Coopers really, I don't know what the go is, but there are better kits out there. But bringing it back into a more general thing, yes, the lighter kits are going to work better. So it doesn't matter whatever brand you're using, Coopers, Blackrock, Morgans, Mangrove Jacks, whatever it is. But if you start from a lighter base, you've got an easier thing to work with. You can layer up your hops and dry malts, liquid malts, and steep in some grains, bring in some hops, and bring up and basically make whatever you want. Because if you're starting with a light base, you're basically just starting with a you're starting with a simple, very lightly hopped malt base. That's easy to pile on top of that. It's not so easy to dress up a big ale kit or a golden ale or a dark ale. Of course you can, but of course you're not going to get the flexibility. So a lot of that's going to come down to, as a brewer, exactly what you want to do. But that's definitely my go-tos would be Cerveza, or like I said, a blonde, and generally a Canadian blonde, or even like an American Pilsner. There's not many of them out there, but those beers that are going to be light in flavour and hops, are a very workable point. So, mate, cheers for the question and the congratulations, and cheers for the gear that you've set in the last little bit. Well, look out, John V's had a second crack here. Well, first, it would appear to be the same day he sent the original one. Well done, little John, much deserved. Keep up the good work. Merry Christmas. So again, John V, Merry Christmas to you. I don't know what he's got on there, whether he was pissed when he done it and he's forgot that he missed it, he's already sent one, or if he's sneakily trying to give himself two chances in the draw. Who would know? Hops TV, smashing it, mate. Well done. Again, no question there. Hops TV is one of my subscribers, and I'll actually be visiting him just before New Year. I'm thinking you're getting this video probably, it should be Tuesday, just after Christmas, which means I'll be visiting him in 2 days' time, and we're going to do a brew day. I'm going to hopefully get some footage, and I'll do a follow-up video on that, because we're going to do some comparison brews. So that'll be an interesting one to look forward to. And the first time I've actually got out and got a brew day done with, you know, one of the viewers or a watcher or a supporter, whatever you want to call it. Luckily we'll be nearby, so that's what's gonna. So that'll be happening. That's something to look forward to next year. Birdie Bro, well done, Little John, mate. Great channel, very informative. Hopefully we can catch up again sometime soon, mate. For sure. Thanks a lot, Birdie. Now, I hate to say it, but I can't remember what his bloody name is. He joined me on a pub crawl in Wollongong. Must have been last year, early last year, and we had a great day. Birdie, it's just his nickname. He told me his name. I can't remember it, and it's not on video anyway. I haven't got any footage of it with the actual name, and I've not written it down. So, but mate, I'm very sorry that I don't remember you. That it's just not there. But yeah, mate, definitely catch up for a beer again sometime in the future. No problem at all. Quite looking forward to it. I don't get out to do it anywhere near often enough. Terry Meisner, congratulations, mate. Keep up the great work. Again, Terry was Little John's very first Patreon. Brewed a beer in his honour on the channel, Terry Meisner. Back and have a look if you so wish. So it's good to see these people have been around for a long time, and still coming, still watching the channel, still getting stuff out of it, and still supporting. All good. Okay, we've got a long one here. Well, not a real long one either. Tony McConnell. Tony, how you going, mate? Hi John, just wondering, after you've bottled your beer, what temperature do you store it at, and for how long typically? I suspect that the carbonation problems I have experienced is due to that fact. I'm storing my bottle of beer at too low a temperature. Thanks for the informative channel. Cheers, Tony. Righto. I don't have a set temperature I store my beer at, but and given that now most of the beer goes into kegs, and when I'm storing beer, it just sits here in the garage at whatever the ambient temperature is, and that will vary from between mid-teens through to mid to high 20s in summer. We do have the air conditioning running through into this part of the house. So it's somewhat controlled with the air conditioning in the house. It doesn't work as effectively as elsewhere because it is a garage. So that it's not sealed. There's roller doors with gaps behind them, and it's a big space. There's not as many ducts in here as you would have if you were trying to keep it, but it does stay at a reasonably level temperature. So the reality is, though, with carbonation, temperature itself is not the big thing. Temperature and time are your critical factors. Ideally, 18 to 20 degrees is really the sweet spot for getting reasonably quick carbonation, whilst not stressing your beer by being too high temperature. When I was a bit lower, it doesn't hurt. It just takes longer. If you're getting down to down in the sort of the 10 degree mark, if you're in a garage or a shed or a storage area that's exposed somewhat to the weather and just isn't heated, as I have here, then those temperatures are going to get quite low, and you can't expect an ale yeast to do much way of carbonation if it's down at 10 degrees. It's just not going to. It's gone to sleep. So you need to keep them somewhere a little bit warmer. But anywhere from 15 up, you'll have no problems getting carbonation. So if you're not getting it, it's because you're getting below that. And then you need to look at ways of getting it up. And you've probably seen on video before, I've discussed it many times. When I was primarily bottling, I had a conditioning fridge. So what I would do is I would sit the beer for 2 or 3 weeks, just on the garage floor, in boxes, whatever, but in the garage at ambient temperature, enough to carb up, and then it would sit in a temperature controlled fridge at 14 degrees, which was enough to make sure that any carbonation hadn't finished would complete, but not warm enough to overcarbonate. Most beers. Occasionally you get something left in there for too long, they would, but for the most part that was a fairly good steady temperature. So given that most brewers don't have the luxury of being able to have a fridge space to age and condition, just look for a space that's more around normal room temperature. If that means bringing your beer into the house, for 2 weeks after you've bottled, to make sure it carbs up, and then moving it into a cooler zone, then do that. Most places got somewhere you can stack a couple of cartons of beer, a couple of crates out of the way that's not going to bloody upset anyone and aren't going to be in the way, while still keeping temperatures up, particularly especially if you're in a cold area. You need to get it somewhere where it's warmed, or if it's a hot location, you need somewhere where it's a little bit cooler, because those high temperatures will kill your beers. Your beer will overcarb, it will continue to ferment. You can ferment a beer out fully, but you leave it sitting in your garage at 30 degrees for an extended period, and sometimes only for a matter of 2 or 3 days, fermentation will kick off again. The yeast will liven up and it will start finding stuff to eat, and it will eat, and you'll end up with highly gassed beers with very metallic carbonic taste. It's not pleasant, it's not what anybody wants. So 18 to 20 if you can get it. Matowix, I don't know how exactly you pronounce it, mate, but Matowix. Do you think those soda bottles keep the beer just as good as the brown PET ones from the brew shop? They're like $1 a full bottle of soda, so it's a cheap way to buy them. But one use only, I guess. Now, obviously, he's referring to the 1.25 litre bottles, soft drink bottles that I've been using for extract again, the Brews, a lot of Brews I'm bottling for the brother. I've had no issue with them storing the beer. My brother's had no issue. Batches sit here for 10 to 12 weeks before he gets them, after they've been bottled, before he gets them to drink. So they're well conditioned. He's had no issue with carbonation, no issue with off flavours. I've done testing on them. I've had no problem with them. They seem to be fine. So if you're drinking your beer in a reasonably short period of time, I don't think there's an issue as far as maintaining, like I said, your carbonation and oxygenation, that sort of thing. You do need to make sure you're keeping them away from sunlight, because they aren't going to keep out any UV, and that's their downside against, say, your brown PET bottles, which are going to keep out a lot more of your UV, and your beer's going to, it's going to be stable. But the reality is, you stick your beers into, I've got black tubs. 50 litre tubs. They sit in no sunlight, no problem with that. Oxidation has not been a problem. I've done the videos where I've done the Scottish ale, and I've cracked the beer and I've poured it after it's been in the bottle for 10 weeks, and then left it 2/3 full in the fridge for a week and cracked another bottle with no problem at all. Speaking of cracking things, well, let's just very quickly address that. This is the Scottish ale I referred to. It's still sitting in the fridge. And it's probably, I don't know, I'll have to look, but it's probably been a good 6 to 8 weeks since I did that last test about how it went. This is in the fridge. It's fairly well rock hard. It's holding gas. And yeah, it's definitely got bloody carbonation there. She got some smoke. Holding carbonation, no problem. It's got good gas. Doesn't look like it's picked up any colours of oxidation. It's still nice and clear and colour it should be. It smells like it should. It tastes perfectly fine. So okay, that was bottled in September, 4th of September. That batch. So it is definitely a suitable storage method, at least for a couple of months. I certainly wouldn't recommend PET for anything you plan on storing for any sort of length of time, regardless. They are all to some degree permeable to oxygen, so. But I would imagine you can probably keep beer in that for 6 months without too much issue. But I wouldn't be. I'd be trying to avoid it. If you want to store beer long term, get yourself glass or get some of them steel bottles. The steel bottles work really well. By steel bottles I do mean kegs. All good. Okay, give me a second guys. I think I need to change a memory card. We're going to fucking run out, so I'm going to do that and I'll be back. Yep. Yeah, so they definitely work. Yeah, and they are cheap, but only if I use them because the wife drinks them. The wife goes through one of these pretty much every day, 7 a week, which is half a case, half a batch. So every 2 weeks I can bottle a batch fully in these. Nice and easy, simple, no frigging around. I don't need to wash them, I don't need to sanitise them. They're finished, these get thrown out. Brother loves it. They're easier to transport, they're lighter. Like I said, I can fit 2 cartons into one crate. Up and gone, easy. He just throws the bottle out when he's done and brings the crate back. And I just keep going around and around and around. I don't have to spend bloody, an hour every batch over the fucking laundry tub, cleaning, rinsing, scrubbing, making sure bottles are clean and sanitised. Yeah, the mist is finished, the lid goes straight on it, it's clean, it's sanitary, it's only got fucking water in it. I just fill straight up, no problem. So yeah, they are a viable option. Yeah, if you need be that way. And I still to say, I fucking regret not kegging that beer. That's a bloody nice drop. That's the Loch Doon Ale. It's brewed back in late August, bottled in September. If you haven't seen it and you don't mind a bit of a Scottish or a pommy type of beer, have a look at that. It's a tasty drop. Some malty goodness. Anyway, we're getting down the list here. We're not far to go. Mr. Fomiati. Congratulations, LJ. That's it. Cheers, mate. No worries. Been popping up a lot lately. Thank you very much. Got 2 to go. I'm going to do this out of order. Well, it's on my screen. Might not be on your screen if you've been looking at it. But anyway, Drew and Bar says, "Get up there." That's some good support, Drew. Thanks, mate. Drew's a new one around the traps. Good to see. And last one here. Steve's Brewery and Camping. G'day, John. What's the best all-grain beer you've created and recipe? Cheers, Steve Hubner. I left this one to last because this is a well, because it's at the bottom of the list mainly, but I've seen this and I've been thinking about it and what bloody, and I can't come up with a definitive answer. What's the best all-grain beer you've created? I've done some good ones, and that's a very subjective answer, and it depends how you want to look at it. There is some line of thought you could say, well, maybe the best all-grain beer I've created was the initial Loaded Dog that got picked up second place in the pale lager category at the state championships. Took out 6 in the nationals. Was the highest scoring Australian lager at both the state and the nationals that year. That's the beer I've scored the highest accolades with, but does it mean it's the best all grain? Well, I've got to say, maybe not. Have I brewed better beers than that? I've brewed better beers in different styles, yes. I've got to say, and I've commented on this recently, that right now, the 8 beers I've got sitting here on this kegerator are 8 of probably the best 12 or 13 beers I've ever brewed. And that's because I've got a lot of things that I've put into place and they're all working. I've got water chemistry worked out after a long time. I finally bothered doing that. The yeast and all the things that I'm trying to pass on to everybody else that have all come together. Have come to the point where now I'm making probably better beer than I've ever made. As for the best beer, and I'm going to throw a couple of beers out, Steve. And the reality is, all these beers probably are on the channel somewhere. And I know from a lot of beers, I don't actually put the recipes on the channel. The recipes generally are, it's very rare the recipe itself is not within the video, because I talk about the grain and the grain amounts, or the percentages, and I talk generally very specifically about the hops and stuff and water volumes and things. It's just, you've got to watch the video and write it down as you go. I don't put the recipe in the comment section or throw a recipe on the screen. You've got to find it. And that's done on purpose. Not because I'm an arsehole, or because I can't be bothered doing it, but because that's part of being a brewer. Do the research, do the searching. I've done it. I've done it for years, which is what led me to be able to do this channel. I find that stuff by getting and watching and looking and listening and taking notes and putting that stuff down. So I've never apologised for it. I never will. I never apologise for the fact that if you want to find one of my recipes to a beer that you need to go 95% of the time, you need to go and search for it. You need to watch the video. They're all there. And people ask, bloody guy, is there a recipe for that video? Well, is there a recipe? Yes, it's in the video. Watch it. Okay, you might need to go through 35 minutes of brew day video to get it, but it's all there. Everything's in those videos. I don't leave stuff out. I just don't particularly make it easy for you. But anyway, let's go. The first beer I really made, I just went, wow, that's really good. Was the corn ale I made about 2 years ago. I think it's listed as a brew venture beer. It was a corn ale. I brewed it with salt. I brewed it with ocean water that I got from down the coast, from Jervis Bay. It might have been called the Pacific Corn Ale, something like that, but anyway. That was an absolutely cracking beer. It was basically an adjunct corn lager, but it was just, it was really good. I think I've done a second corn ale since then, which was also really good. Probably not quite the same as that first one, but yeah, that's definitely one of the best all grain beers I've ever made. The red IPA I've currently got on tap, as much as it needs to be tweaked and needs to be adjusted to get exactly where I want, it is a fucking cracking beer. I think it would easily surpass most commercial brewers' versions of red IPA. It's a brilliant beer. Like I said, I do have to rejig it to get a little bit closer to what I've really wanted. It took a long time. Took a bit of time for it in the keg to actually get to the point where it was really drinking really well. But that's what beer does. Sometimes it needs a bit more conditioning. But I think that's one of the things I need to work with, that pull it back so it doesn't take quite as long. And that will be coming in the new year. I will be having a revised crack at that. I'm actually really happy with this one. This is this is the not so cloudy Nipa. It didn't come out cloudy, but it's fucking damn tasty. The bloody beautiful beer. If you had guys shut and someone told you it was bloody hot, you wouldn't know any different. It's it's just a lovely New England IPA. It just didn't haze you up for whatever reason. The India Pale Lager I've got on tap at the moment, I'm actually really enjoying, but the previous version, the original, now that comes along with the Brut IPA. I do the IPL as a throw off, and if you go back to, it's probably about 2 years ago, when I did the Brewed IPA originally. There's a couple of videos around that time around, there's a video along the lines of, is Brewed IPA the biggest beer wank or something, something like that anyway. But I brewed, just search Brewed IPA, you'll find it. And from that Brewed IPA, I've split that both times into an IPL, because I believe that's the style of the Brewed IPA lends itself better to an India Pale Lager. That original IPL was a bloody good beer, and possibly it would give anything I've done as a run for being the best beer I've ever brewed. And yeah, so it was a different combination. This current one's really nice as well. I think the hops work just a little bit better in that first batch. So there's 4 beers that I would certainly, without going too hard into them, certainly would say probably, top 4. Definitely, they would definitely be my top 6 beers I've ever brewed. There might be a couple others that would probably maybe slip in there, but top of my head, yeah, that's where they are. There was the original Christmas Pale Ale, which I'm pretty sure is on the channel. It would have been a very early video on the channel. It would have been done in the old Listy Tum probably with the original handmade bloody heat exchanger, the bloody Hermes coil, which I used to sit in a little stock pot. It was a fucking cracking beer. It was absolutely bloody beautiful. Yeah, I could sit here all day, but there, that's a handful, mate. So I hope that's so I know you asked what was the best, but that's the best answer I can sort of give you on that question, mate. So anyway, so that's everybody done. Now we're going to do this draw. Now I've got just a random number bloody generator up here to pick numbers between 1 and 12. Now this is going to be, I'm going to jiggle you around a little bit. The bloody phone's on the stand, so I can't move it too far. I don't know you're going to be able to see this. Oh yeah, look, here we go. Hopefully that will be enough, but anyway, got in there from number 1 to 12. And it's given me number 5. You can see just there, that says number 5. So let's go down through the comments. And the 5th comment is going to be the winner. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not going to read about that. Hops TV. Steve Harrell is the winner. Right, so that works out really well for me, because what I was going to do is I'm going to bottle up one of every beer I've got here on tap, and also the Pliny the Elder clone, which is kegged up. It's not in the fridge. It's waiting for a spare. It's waiting for an empty tap to go on into the fridge. But I'm going to bottle them up, and I'll shoot them down to Steve. I said, works out good for me because I was going to take him a selection of beers anyway. So that's how it is. So guys, you saw it there live. There's nothing. That's as random as I can make it. So Steve, congratulations, mate. Other guys, apologies for not winning. That being said, jump on, hit the Patreon link. There's a draw every month. Give yourself more chances of winning free prizes from Little John. But anyway, just quickly, this is starting to drag out a little bit. Let's finish this off. I said the last 12 months has seen that improvement of the beer with the getting the water additions right. And in the last little bit I've started working back towards getting the 3V system going again. That's proven to be a little bit of an issue. The pump is not pumping, but it's just not pumping anywhere near enough. I can't get stuff to pump around the system. And it's always been a bit of an issue, that pump. Even when it was running, it took a while to get it going. So I have to bite the bullet after the new year and get a decent pump. So that will come, and that will get the. It's going to be a revised 3V system. We'll get the 3V system working. But I've been very happy with just the results I'm getting out of the Nano kettle, the 15 litre, running with brew in a bag. But I am keen to see how that setup runs with the false bottom in it and just running it as a proper mash tub. So that's the year that's been, and that's going to be coming in the new year as well. There's going to be more focus in the next 12 months on fine-tuning and getting a few recipes right. I've always focused a lot on just bugging out new recipes and playing around with a lot of stuff, and that comes quite often from a lot of from the support that I get with the channel and people sending me stuff. And it's like, okay, trying to use bits and pieces to get sent to me. But there is going to be a little bit more focus in the next 12 months on getting a couple of things nailed down. And the reason is because there's some potential opportunities that might be opening up in the next little bit. Which may require me having some recipes out. I'm hoping that I will get the opportunity to brew at a local brewery, and get some input into or some involvement in the brews at their brewery. If that pays off, I'll certainly, yeah, you guys will be hearing about it. I don't want to put I'm not going to put anything more about that out there at the moment, because it's very in its infancy, so to speak, at the moment. It's not nailed down or anything at the moment. So got fingers crossed that something's going interesting to pan out from that. So yeah, but aside from that, I was thinking, regardless, I need to start really nailing down a couple of recipes, fine-tuning. So part of that is like where I'm currently getting the Great Northern clone going. That will be up and going, I think, I'm hoping by the end of summer, or certainly very early into autumn. I will have a GN clone that I am happy enough to call a clone. So keep watching that one, because that's going to happen, and that will be probably the first beer I've actually going to really bother about trying to get some group people together and do some blind testing and some triangle testing on that. So that's coming as part of that process. But I will be working on a few other beers as well. It's at the Red IPA. I'll be working on getting this NEPA to be cloudy. As I said, hopefully with the continued support of the patrons and subscribers of the channel, and hopefully we'll continue to grow. And I can improve the video and audio quality of the videos. I'm also looking to streamline brew day videos particularly down a little bit, just make them a little bit more condensed, a little bit quicker to get through. They can tend to drag out a little bit, but that's Little John style. So I've tried in the past to cut things down and it doesn't work. So we'll see how that goes. But reality is, I've got a list of experiments and things I've still got planned to do. Things will continue to pop up. So there's going to be continued to be brews coming on. But I will. I'm going to think over the Christmas break. So I'm doing these videos now. I'm going to have all my videos done by the next 2 days, ready, loaded up before Christmas, and I'll have just Christmas break to just sit back and think about what it is I want to do, and come back in the new year, later in January, and get back into it and maybe enlighten you guys about exactly where what the channel might be looking like in the next 12 months. But for now, guys, everybody watching, Patreon subscribers, non-subscribers, whatever, it doesn't matter, whoever you are, if you're watching Little John, if you're learning something, if you're not learning something, you're just watching it for the hell of it, you just like watching me drinking, whatever it is, I thank you for being here. I thank you for your support. I look forward to doing more videos in the future. May you all enjoy your Christmas break. Have a wonderful time with your family and friends. Be safe. Enjoy some cold beers. Whatever it is you do to unwind at the end of the year, I hope it works out for you. You get to do plenty of it. So, guys, happy Merry Christmas. Christmas has already been at this point, but anyway, enjoy the rest of your rest of the season. Happy New Year. I'll see you again soon. What are we going to be doing? We'll be brewing beer, drinking beer, or we'll be talking beer. Till then, good brewing. Or good holidays, safe travels, all that sort of thing. All the best to you and your families.